The hospital supervisor passed the paper over the desk and said, "You're being fired for unprofessional conduct. You crossed a line." I just held his hand, but they didn't care. Their eyes darted uncomfortably, lingering momentarily on her curves, as if her beauty somehow made her compassion suspicious. Maya stood motionless, still wearing her nurse scrubs, the faint smell of antiseptic clinging to her skin, her full lips parting in disbelief that he was dying. She whispered. Her beautiful face, hourglass form, and hips. She was the talk of the hallway from day one because of her chestnut hair. They'd said, "You're a distraction," so they had an excuse to formally declare it. 3 days prior, Mia was given the night shift in the hospice wing, a peaceful setting where time passed more slowly and farewells took longer. That night, Mr. Alden, an elderly man without visitors, had only a few hours left to live. His breathing was difficult, and his eyes were watering. Remote nurses arrived and left. Vitals were checked. Charts were updated. But nobody stayed until Maya noticed the fear in his eyes and the way his fingers twitched for something to hold him. She took his hand and sat next to him, whispering. Comfort held space without using words, just warmth and presence. Not realizing how long she had been there until the charge nurse arrived and exclaimed, "You're not supposed to be here alone with him. What are you doing?" When Maya looked up, she whispered softly, "He's dying. He shouldn't be alone." She was called to HR the following morning with the statement. No warning, no review, just a single accusation of inappropriate conduct. As Maya left the hospital, her heels clicking against the tile like a farewell drum beat, staff members looked away, some in embarrassment, others silently agreeing that she was too attractive and curvaceous for a runway, but no one asked why they didn't care that she was the only one who had dared to care. She was once told behind her back that she wasn't here to work, but rather to be noticed, and now they were using sympathy as a cover for jealousy. She wasn't punished for a mistake, but rather for making people uncomfortable with her level of concern, but what they didn't anticipate was what nobody did. We came to say goodbye to our father and discovered the most amazing thing. A young, lovely nurse sitting next to him, holding his hand, singing to him, and crying for him. We don't know her name, but we watched from the hallway. She didn't see us, but we saw her humanity. 3 days later, the hospital received a handwritten letter signed by 6 members of the Olden family, the ones no one knew were watching, the ones who had arrived shortly after Mayer had been forced to leave to the administration. She gave him dignity and brought us peace, and even though you dismissed her, their voices became louder. He went away minutes later, but not alone. The family shared the tale online, and the public erupted in support of Nurse Meyer's rights. We need more nurses like her, not less. Soon after, local news outlets carried the story, and national headlines read, "Nurse fired for holding dying man's hand." And the question, what kind of hospital punishes compassion, was posed everywhere. Ma remained quiet and avoided the spotlight, spending her days assisting an elderly neighbor while working at a shelter and dodging cameras. She was unaware that the family had started a petition with over 80,000 signatures in just 1 week, and that the hospital board was worried about donations endangering their reputation. Suddenly, Maya got a call saying, "We'd like to speak with you," and she nearly didn't answer, but the family insisted on joining her in the boardroom. The same body that had once drawn attention now commanded respect from Mr. Olden's son. The hospital offered reinstatement with an apology, back pay, and public recognition, but Maya said something nobody had anticipated. "Unless you change how you see compassion and how you treat people who look like me. I'm a nurse, not a distraction." The HR manager, who had previously avoided looking at her, got up and nodded as the room became silent. "We needed to hear that," she acknowledged. "Thank you." Maya decided to come back, not for herself, but to be the face of change, to stand for every woman who's been underestimated, every nurse whose heart was called too much. Before we wrap up this story, please let us know where you are watching from. If this story touched you, hit the like button and leave a karma comment below. When she passed the memorial wall where Mr. Alden's photo now hung, a note next to it read, "He died with love in the room because Maya stayed." She smiled, touching the frame gently, not for attention but for closure. She held hands once more, this time with dignity, and no one dared to look away. She wasn't just the nurse with curves. She was the nurse who showed the world what true beauty looks like empathy.